Hello, I'm Sean Lambert, and welcome back to Gary Grigsby's War in the East 2. Today we're going to be trying out the new features from the final Gary Grigsby War in the East 2 patch. And let's start by setting up a fresh 1941 campaign. We're going to play from the perspective of a solitaire player for once. So normally I play against the computer or against another human, but in this case we're going to play against ourselves in order to better test both changes to the Germans and Soviets. So I set it to Axis versus Axis, which means I'm not going to be testing too many of the other settings from the difficulty standpoint. I'm not going to be able to test the end conditions, obviously, because I ain't going to get there. But I will test all of these new reduced retreat attrition, combat delay effects, leader deaths, all this stuff. I'll turn all that on just to make sure it works. So I turned all those buttons on. See how they go. I'll leave this stuff normal, except I guess I'll try the no early end setting just to make sure it doesn't like crash the game or anything like that. I don't think it would, but and then maybe I will give I'll give some points to the Italians. So let's give them 5. Let's give the Hungarians 5. Let's give the Romanians 2. And let's give the Soviets a little bit more than they usually have as well. So give them 5. We're going to bump up the vehicle repair rate to, let's say, 10. So see what it is in the late war. See how much of a difference that makes. Might not make any difference at all. I don't know. And then what we're going to do is pick a scenario. This is the scenario that uses the new build menu. So if you want a copy of this, go to the link that I have in the description and download it into your scenarios folder, and then it shows right up. You don't even have to restart the game. And we're going to call this 1.04 testing. First thing I'm going to do is save. All right, and then here we are on the beginning of a brand new turn. The first thing I do when I enter a new game is I turn off the victory flags because frankly they're just annoying. And then what I generally start looking at is I do turn on logistics just to have an idea of where my depots are. So if I need to make decisions about where to concentrate my guys, I can have the depots on. So I generally leave those on all the time when I'm playing. I know it might be annoying to some people, but I like knowing if there's any supply lines cut and to constantly be reminded of it because it does make a big impact. So that's how I like to play it. Now, when you first load up a new game, it does show it'll have a lot of air attacks already set up and ready to go. Some of these are good, some of them are not so good. And in particular, you might not need ground support on turn 1. It might just be a waste. So what you can do instead is, well, you can activate some of these ground attacks. Yeah, I don't see a problem with any of those. And then maybe on day 2 we can ground attack a little further in. I'm trying to remember where the planes actually are here. I know I think there's a bunch up in this area here in Estonia. So I would like to launch an attack at that, a new one. So let's do ground attack. Oops. Yeah. Of course, I misclick on the very first move of the game. Alright, so we'll do a ground attack, and we'll do this on day 2. We'll launch 1 strike, I think. Should be enough. And we don't need a huge mission on it. Obviously, this is something that could only be achieved by the Ju-88s. So I will I'll assign 1 squadron of them. I guess 76. And what we want them to target is airfields. And I think this is going to pay off. I think this is a good target. But I'm not a German player traditionally, so I think they have some there as well. We'll have 77 attack that, maybe. I gotta just set that as a global setting. I mean, once you kind of kill the nearby planes, you can pretty much go wherever you want. So that's kind of what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set this to 1 as well. Now, as far as the other planes, I think there's a bunch that end up in like Mogilev. So we'll have Army Group Center's air support handle that. Luftflotte 2. I always just turn all these on, the auto-generated ones. It's fine. And then just to double check that I'm not double attacking something, I usually do it like that. Yeah, that looks okay. Alright, I know that they end up with planes over here in Mogilev. So I definitely want to attack that on day 2. Maybe on day 3 we could attack this. Actually, I'll make it so we're attacking all 3 of these airfields. Probably need at least 4 strikes. I know there's a lot of planes in Kiev, but it's kind of risky to attack Kiev. Maybe I could attack Kiev on day 1. That's something. Something from Luftflotte 4, maybe? Yeah, that's a fine one. That's fine. Wait, do I have 2 on that airfield? Oh no, one's Odessa and the other one's the airfield behind it. But I don't have anything at Kiev. Okay, I like how they're gonna literally miss the main target in Crimea. Let's just drag that down. Most of the planes are in Sevastopol. We'll do that on day 2, honestly. Should do more of these further strikes on day 2. Okay, so now as the week goes on, we definitely want to try to hit the Kiev area. This might be a mistake, I don't know. Again, I'm not a German player. I just kind of know where the planes are. And so that's why I like to... that's why I'm trying to target them. See how that works. Alright, I'm not going to agonize over it. I'm just playing around, testing things out here. I'm definitely going to lose more planes than normal. But hopefully also kill more planes than normal. Yeah, losing a lot more planes than normal. Oh my god. Alright, this was definitely a mistake. Don't do what I just did. Follow a guide or something, because trying to figure it out for yourself is not worth it if you're being lazy like me. Let's see where most of my losses occurred on this attack here. And okay, so a lot of this was on... Maybe I should attack this on day 1 like the plan originally was. Probably would have worked better. Have a little bit of an element of surprise. Otherwise, it wasn't too bad losses-wise. I mean, this one's not great. But I did wipe out a fair amount of planes in exchange. So I'm willing to kind of accept that one. But I lost a lot on Luftflotte 4 for very little gain here. Yeah, this one didn't go so hot either. Oh well. Live and you learn, I guess. This one's pretty good. Alright, so let's check out the new build menu. So this is entirely new to the game. You can now build certain infantry types, certain unit types early on that will eventually become unbuildable because of the limit that is set. So if you do want some of these, make sure you do build them like on turn 1 or turn 2. So you do have to invest the AP cost early on. But it's definitely nice. Probably the biggest choice is something like the mountain divisions, where you have 6 early on. You can build 1, but you'd have to save up for a turn to afford it, so that would let you get an extra mountain division. I think eventually you do get one anyway, but do you want to invest in that mountain division early on or not? Some more cavalry divisions is pretty nice, especially the SS Cavalry Brigade and regiments. So it would probably be nice to have some of those. I could definitely see that being very useful. Some other stuff we might want. I guess just infantry regiments. I don't know what you'd do with an infantry battalion necessarily, but I guess you could find a place for it. Then you got 12th wave light divisions. And I think the lack of light divisions in general in this game for the Germans is interesting. Having more security battalions is kind of nice. Yeah, I like all these options. I like them a lot, actually. But notice you don't have a lot of equipment in the pool for many of these units, because your pool starts relatively empty. Stug 3B. Stug 3B is not that good, so I don't know if you'd want to build this. Yeah, I mean, we have 40 of them in the pool, but I think that they're going to be used up by what's already in the field, so you probably don't want to build that. I'd stay away from that. But these cavalry regiments, and those actually look pretty tasty, not going to lie. Maybe not a whole division, but I could see the especially building like some of the Romanians or Hungarians. That'd be kind of nice. They're very small, but you don't need them to be strong. You just need them to be fast. Oh, these ones even come with little recon tanks. That's cute. I really like this mod. I think he did a good job with it. I like these options that he gave. Some things that you wouldn't normally get in a normal game. And I think maybe the build menu is a little bit more important in the late war scenarios, where it's more about prioritizing what you want. So I do kind of think that maybe later in the war they're going to matter more. All right, let's do a little combat. I never quite know what to do in the north. I know we don't want to leave any of these tank units around, so like I want to clear up that mechanized guy, and I think this is a tank unit here, so let's just try to clear up as much of that as possible. And let's turn our air support off for now. So I guess we'll have First Corps be the kind of spearhead. And most of this is going to be hasty attacks, because we don't need to go crazy here. Let's just make sure we open up a nice big gap. Clear out as much of this stuff as we can. Okay, that's going to be good for us anyways. Scout that out. And then their buddies from the 21st Infantry Division can come over and finish that combat off. It gets a nice rout. And remember, we do have the reduced retreat attrition on, so the enemy does have that to their advantage. But what I like to do here is to just make sure that I can clear out as much of the really scary stuff as possible. To me, what's scary is anything that's mobile. Swing this up here. And that's fine for now. Where's the rest of the corps? I really want to try to take out that tank unit. So I'll march up through these woods here and just bop them. Let's see. What we could do is move all the way up to here. So I think it'll be less movement points to go that, not cross the river and go through the swamp instead. Think. I don't know. Actually, that might be 0. Maybe it is cheaper to cross the river. Let's see. So go there with 3 left. That's probably the best bet. So I killed their commander. And then I want to make sure I route that tank division. And then I can go in here and get that depot cleared out. They're going to be out of movement points, aren't they? That's too bad. All right, is there anything left in this core that I can move up? No. So I can go from the 38th Corps but they can't move that much further. Maybe what I'll have the 38th Corps do is just clear out a rail line or something. I don't know. They could also just handle clearing this stuff up here. That might be a better use of their time, because then that unlocks the 26 Corps to do whatever they want. Let's try doing that instead. So we'll just use them to clear out all this crap here. Perfect. That's a better use of their time than clearing a rail line, frankly. are definitely on the road to getting Riga here. I would have liked to be able to take that out, but I just ran out of movement points, to be honest. So I'm going to have to use maybe the 254th Infantry Division. And maybe we could reassign him to 1st Corps. I don't know what else is here. Two rifle divisions. Yeah, so I probably do need a whole division to take this out. So that's what I'll do. Shumilov is killed, and everyone else skedaddles. I was not quite as good as I was hoping. I'm really focused on getting Riga on turn 1 here. Because you want that as early as possible so that you can get your supply situation sorted out. Having Riga is a huge advantage if you want to go the Estonia route, which I do. So my ultimate plan with this test is to try going up through Estonia as well as the traditional route. So I'm going to commit an entire corps to Estonia and see how that works. It might be good. I don't know. But I want to try to clear that out early with a corps. Alright. What else do I have from Army Group North that I can push up there with? So I could head over here with these guys. I don't care too much about this stuff yet. I mean, that's going to get encircled, so I'm not too worried about it. I do want these further away from the line of advance here. So leave him there. And we're going to make this a depot eventually. But for now, it's okay as is. Sorting out the supply at the end of this turn is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. Yeah, so I can't get close enough to smack that guy again. But that's okay. I think I have one more infantry division here that I can use. What do I want to use it for? Because what I'm going to do is hand off the 291st Infantry Division, split that into regiments, and have them push up north. So 2 divisions are going to handle the north, and they're both going to be assigned to this corps, the 26th Corps. Meanwhile, I guess this guy's also a 26 Corps. Well, we're going to reassign him, maybe. Thinking about it. Because what I want to do is try to open a little bit more space to use less movement points going up through there, but I don't even know if it's necessary. So I could theoretically commit him to doing stuff down here. So maybe that's what I'll do. I'll have him knock back that stuff. just to save some movement points from my other units. I probably could have split him into regiments to do that. Alright, we're definitely going to split this into regiments. And what we're going to do here is encircle this. And then we're going to attack it. Okay, so that was a lot of combat delay. There is a strong unit in there, but by encircling it, at least we know that they're not going to go anywhere else. And then we want to make sure we plop a security unit down there in Memel. Something that very easy to forget. You do not want to give up Memel early on for no reason. Actually, do they have the range that they can clear this and still make it back? Yes, they do. That's good. Alright, so now I'd like to finish up our session here. You'll just finish up with the push to Riga. So I gotta decide who I want to do this push. I think the 36. I know I need at least a Panzer, probably a full Panzer division, because the way you have to take the city is you got to get to this hex here, to the right of Riga, and then attack from there. If you attack across the river, it doesn't matter what you bring, you're not going to take it out. But if you bring a Panzer division or maybe two, you can easily take this out in one turn. But you got to make sure you have the odds, otherwise you will get 9 combat delay instantly. That's really fewer movement points to get there, I guess. Alright, that's fine. Doesn't really matter which direction you come from here. Make sure you clear that stuff out. And then what we're trying to do is minimize the movement point loss. So that's 18, 25 to there, 24 to there. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 5 hexes no matter which direction you go. Okay, and then we want to go here, here, and I'm going to leave him there for a second. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 8th Panzer and plop them in this hex. Except they took the wrong route. Oh, whatever. Okay, so that's 42 to 36. If I put these guys in here, they will not have enough stuff. And we're going to need to turn on the air support for this puppy. So I'll also commit the 1st Panzer Division to this. Now we should have 2-1. And hopefully we're able to capture this. Perfect. Alright, so I think you can probably do that with less force than I just used. But I'd rather play it safe and make sure that I get everything I need done. Because the worst thing in the world is not capturing Riga on turn 1. It is super annoying. And you're going to need Panzer divisions up there anyway at some point. So I like to push directly for Riga, but it's probably not the best play, if I'm perfectly honest. So now it doesn't matter what happens to this rail line the rest of the turn. These guys can get isolated, whatever. They're going to be fine. It's 2 Panzer divisions and a motorized division. It's like an entire Panzer Corps. They can fend for themselves for a turn. I'm not worried about them. But what this has done now is at least we're in a very safe position, and that's kind of what I prioritize when I think about playing the Axis is what the Soviets want to do to mess you up. And as a Soviet player, I know that the most annoying thing I can do is use something that is close to your depots and push in and take a depot. So if you leave any units near the front lines, that's exactly what's going to happen. They are going to take your depots and make you sad. If you clear all those units out, then there's no chance of that happening. Like, there's nothing that these guys can do from this far away. They're not going to have enough movement points because they're going to fail all their logistics rolls. And they're going to start with like 8 movement points. So there's no way that they can make it there. Their priority is trying to get something out. So that it's really not a concern at all. Now, what I could do is still try a deliberate attack into here and see if that does the trick. And now I have some air support on it too. It looks like that did work. So now I've got an extra port here. And again, garrison your ports, because you don't want to capture a port and then have it immediately revert to enemy control. I don't think it's necessary to take this out, but what I'm going to do is split off a regiment and send it up there anyway, because the motorized corps is going to be in Army Group North. Alright, so now they are definitely not going to be a threat at all. So a single regiment can handle all that stuff. And next time what we'll do is reorganize all of our corps into something resembling an actual army. And so the 18th Army is going to consist of 4 corps, and one of those corps is going to be this Panzer, well, we call it a Panzer Corps, but at this point it's still called the Motorized Corps, the 41st Motorized. And we're going to start with them in Army Group North. And then eventually we are going to switch them back down to Army Group Center once they make it to like Pskov, and it's just about grinding with infantry north. I'm just going to let the infantry do their thing in the north, and in the rest of the map, that's where you need the Panzer Group, because you want to get the battle for Smolensk settled as quickly as possible, because that can be a real pain in the ass, depending on what the Soviets can do about it. Obviously, I kind of screwed up the air turn, so we're going to have a lot less air power than you could otherwise have had. But that's okay. We're learning. And then for the rest of our encirclement of Minsk. We're going to build that pocket next time and probably make it through the rest of turn 1 for the Germans. And then we will take a look at building one of the new units, because I do want to do that on turn 1. So until next time, see ya.